and he knows that I won't intentionally abandon my duties if I had no just reasons.
And that is a Dom Kwabenya MP, Sarah Joseph, sounding confident just a couple of months back when she spoke to us here at Joy News that the president knows her worth and contribution to the party and appreciates why she had been gone for so long. Well, as it turns out last night, the president finally ran out of patience and sacked her as Gender, Children and Social Protection Minister. Now, listen to her in that interview, sounding confident that she will walk back, right back, from wherever she's been into this job.
You're talking about the fact that the president is well aware of your condition. Is that possibly why he's keeping you at post as gender minister? Some have argued that by now you should have lost your job.
That is their opinion. The prerogative lies in the president, and he knows exactly what I am capable of doing, what I've done for the party, what I've done for Parliament, and he knows that I won't intentionally abandon my duties if I had no just reasons, and he won't allow me to stay for the family if he didn't know exactly what was happening.
And we know that definitely, as you're indicating to us, you will return. But then the question about resuming your role as gender minister. We know there's a caretaker minister as we speak, acting in your stead. Will you take up the post immediately you return, or perhaps you are considering resigning from post?
That is what you're expecting, or that's what other people are expecting?
Well, it's all about you in the end, because you say the president is well aware. So what will you do?
Exactly.
Will you take up the post once you return?
And since I haven't resigned, it's implied that exactly what you're saying is the truth. When I touch down, I am going to do what I have to do as a minister, since I haven't been relieved of my post yet.
Well, she has now been relieved of her post, and obviously she's not going to take up that position. We've not heard from her since. But all along she maintained that if there's one person who understood the reason why she's been away for so long, and remember the president had given her a long leash, including several renewal of her leave of absence, she maintains in this interview that the president knew all along the real reason, and she was clear in her mind that the president understood the reasons and agreed with her that she had to be away. She explained exactly why she's been away in that interview.
I will be returning definitely to serve my people. I lead and serve the people of Dom Kwabenya, and I've done that for the past 12 years, and I know exactly what my responsibilities are, and I'm definitely going to do that. But as you know, my son is unwell, and he has to transition to school, and as a mother, I have to ensure that all that is settled before I can resume my duties. And that's exactly what I'm doing. With God, everything is possible. We've been praying. I've been doing a lot to support my children, which I'm required to do by law. And as you know, they're in a foreign land, and I have to comply with whatever I'm directed to. And until all that is sorted out, I have to do what I have to do, and then I'll return to my duty.
Here's the opportunity for us to know your side of the story. We've heard from your party, we've heard from your colleagues in Parliament as well. What's the Adjoa Safo story?
The Adjoa Safo story is exactly what I've told you about, and that's what communication I have sent to His Excellency the President, and he's very much aware of what is happening to me and my family. And that's what I expect every Ghanaian to understand, that I am not intentionally abandoning my duties and my responsibilities. I have served the people of Ghana for 12 years. I entered politics when I was young, and I have done it. And there has not been any past record of me absenting myself like this. That should tell people that there's really something that ought to be done with family. And I know that you will put family first. I haven't given up on my party. I am still very loyal and committed to the party and to His Excellency the President.
So, is she still committed to the president? We don't know that yet now, because she's being sacked now yesterday, and that pretty shortly were the statement issued by the presidency. She's gone now as a minister. there isn't a substantive replacement just yet. And there is tonight a push now on the presidency to appoint a substantive minister immediately, because the sanitation minister will be acting, and she has been acting for a while in that position as gender, children and social protection minister. The international non-governmental organization Send Ghana has today been demanding that a substantive minister is appointed, particularly because of where the country is right now, with economic challenges, with social protection policies at risk of suffering. Listen to the head of Send Ghana, Siafa Kamara, speaking to my colleague Aisha Ibrahim.
For us, it has been long overdue. The social protection program that Send over the last 15 years or more has been engaged with, to be left without the minister at this very critical period when social protection programs are experiencing slash down in government support, delay in cash transfer. We think it has been long overdue. Now that the president has taken the right decision to relieve her of her post, we hope that steps will be taken immediately to have a substantive minister, because social protection needs a powerful voice in cabinet. It needs a powerful voice at all levels of society at this time. And the minister is the best person to do that in government. The absence of a substantive minister is worrying at this particular point in time, given the challenges that we see in social protection.
Given that a substantive minister is appointed today, what should be the focus of that minister, considering the neglect of the ministry for the past almost 2 years?
I think that the first thing I would like to see a substantive minister do is to connect with the stakeholder in the sector, so that we can together review the serious challenges that the sector is facing, especially as Ghana is preparing, is engaged in discussion with IMF. And we know that IMF programs are usually characterized by reduction in government support for social protection activities. So the first thing the minister should be doing is energizing the stakeholders, connecting with all of us who are there, and making sure that they get our input into how we can pressure the government, the World Bank, to ensure that social protection programs do not suffer slash down in government support. Rather, at the time when the country is facing serious problems, the poor, who are the weakest in society, that this is the time that we should be pressurizing government and the IMF to ensure that they are protected.
Mr.
That's what the minister should focus on.
Mr. Kamara, you've been doing a lot of work on the gender ministry. Now, what are the pressing issues that were not dealt with because of the absence of a minister?
Well, I think that the gender ministry in many ways has suffered a lot because of the quality of the leadership, even when the minister was there. So we hope that the new minister who will be appointed will understand the issues and be passionate about social protection issues, about issues of inequality. The issues that have suffered are known. We've issued release after release, calling on government to regularize, to make sure that people in LIP, for example, that they get whatever little money is getting to them, to get it on time. That is one issue that has suffered. Social protection programs are experiencing slash down. Those are the issues in the sector. That is why I said that the minister to be the substantive minister, if the president is appointed, they should connect with the network of civil society actors who are involved in the sector to hear their views as to how we can ensure that social protection programs are protected, they are invested in, even during this hard time. Government should prioritize that.
I had the head of Ghana, of course, asking for an immediate replacement, a substantive one for the minister. Well, today, just a day, a few hours really, after the president sacked the gender minister, Sarah Joseph, who has been absent without, from Parliament without permission for so long. Sacked her, appointed somebody to act in her stead for a while. Hours after that, the president stormed the Dom Kwabenya constituency. Is that a coincidence, or was the sacking plan to coincide with the president's visit, considering that the majority side, the MPP side in Parliament, are pushing so strongly for her to also be sacked as a member of Parliament, for her to vacate a seat? If they have their way, that seat becomes vacant, and then you would have a by-election. So is this the beginning of the charm offensive by the government to woo the constituents ahead of that likely outcome? We'll do some analysis of this pretty shortly. But my colleague Samuel Mbura was with the president in the constituency and is joining me in the studio with more on this. Samuel, the president was there to cut sword for a particular road. What road was this?
Well, this road is the Dom Kitase 23-kilometer stretch of road.
He was doing this, and the crowd and the questions and everybody else was there. In their heads was a situation with Sarah Joseph, who happens to be the MP. You've been interacting with the constituents whilst the president was there. What have they been saying about the decision to sack her?
Well, some of these residents believe that the reason given by their MP for her absence, especially to take care of her family, is justified. They are also arguing that we have MPs in Parliament who have not travelled, yet they are not working as expected. However, they agree with the president firing her from office as minister because the president appointed her and can decide to sack her at any time.
Okay.
Madwin is a man in Tanazi. Copim Tama 4 years beson a betuaba. More constituency in the Bechere, so Mope and now Mumpe.
Now, what is the president so are you not free office as Minister for Gender and Social Protection?
Me bacho I mate.
It's also why do you need chess?
Madwin, and the president no Hajuma Wafano. I won't have soon Yajumani. Entinema, where you nefi ni Pebia or so or Pubia or Nenebe Yajum obey Yajumani. No, no, so intended when Yajumana Wajawa Quatna US. The president no decision was taken or good because more the man and so you know 1 year.
All right, so he agrees with the president's decision to take her off as a minister for gender and social protection.
Say be in everybody here. Me Madwin there 90 Juma because we are transferred 12 years, 16 years. So baby be my uncle why that. O baby be my uncle why. In the 2 years more, I can just son of Nipan Baba, any Papa, or have solve a problem on my own constituency.
What he's saying is that there are some MPs that are already there. They have not traveled, yet they have not done anything for their constituents, so they don't see their case as exceptional. Let me also find out from you.
Oh, I'm pretty, you know, because you just could be.
So the views there, it appears a bit mixed when you listen to all of them. The assembly members were also there. I mean, remember that Sarah Joseph is a member of that assembly, Dom Kwabenya assembly. They've also been interacting with you on this.
So the Dom Kwabenya constituency falls under the Ga East Municipal Assembly. And these assembly members, though are worried about she being ousted from office as minister, they believe the president has that right to hire and fire at any time. But on her role as MP, some think that her seat should be declared vacant.
It's a worrisome situation, but you know, the president has the power to appoint and then also to disappoint. So that is left with the president to take a decision.
In fact, we are all not happy of what happened, but all the same, so far as it's a decision from this, from the college MPs, we've taken it like that.
So do you agree with the president's decision to sack her?
In fact, this one, I would not say she's been sacked. But I think due to some inconveniences of something, that's why maybe he's not coming to be, in Parliament anymore.
I don't actually understand why it has come like that. Because Ajua, of whom we know, is not a person it's not like that. But I'm surprised things have turned to this way. But the decision lies on the parliamentarians.
It's also part. At least he's the one who's supposed to lobby for us. And for some time now, he's not in the country. We assembly members, we work through the MP. So normally some of our issues we table to her, and then she also done for us. So for some time that he's not being with the constituency, it's getting a lot of problem for us.
Are you worried she has been sacked as a minister?
I'm not worried. She's my sister. And then I see that if there's any issue that they can trust up, they're going to trust up. At least you come by and then do some job for us.
Interesting views there from the members of the assembly, and she's a member of that assembly as well as by virtue of her position as a member of parliament. And remember that earlier this week we checked with her aides, and they told us she's actually in the country. Question is, has she met already with the president, or has she not? And will she be in parliament? How long will she be here for? And will she be here when Parliament resumes in October? We don't know. Samuel, the president today tried to steer clear of all that controversy surrounding Sarah Joseph, a woman she sacked then a few hours the evening of the night before. He's been keeping to the script when it comes to the road network that he was cutting the sword for.
Exactly. He never mentioned Sarah Joseph in his speech. He was only touting his achievement in office so far as the construction of road network is concerned.
For a road which serves as a vital link between the Greater Accra and Eastern regions, and whose construction has been the subject of promises made by various political parties and successive governments over the years. I am happy that it is under the presidency of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo that the rehabilitation of the Dome to Kitasi Road is finally being undertaken. The 23-kilometer stretch of road connects the Accra to Kumasi Road to the Accra Eburi Kufuoribia Road and provides an alternative route to road users between Accra and Eburi. The road also provides access to Ascension University, one of our nation's foremost and most prestigious universities. The rehabilitation of the Dome Kitasi Road is being funded by the government of Ghana and the Kuwaiti Fund. We enjoy excellent relations with the state of Kuwait. We're determined to widen and deepen those relations. The works, estimated at 35 million United States dollars, and scheduled to be completed within 24 months from today, are being undertaken by Messrs. First Sky Construction Limited, one of the best road construction companies in the country.
Well, let's delve deeper a bit more into all that has happened in the last 24 hours. I want to bring in post and election watcher Ben F. Singh joins us on the telephone line right now. Mr. FC, I'm grateful for your time. Your top story.
Good evening, Evans, and good evening to our listeners.
We'll also be speaking to the constituency secretary of the MPP in Dom Kwabenya, who also join us on the telephone line right now. But let me start with you, Mr. Efsit. Do you find this coincidence? The night before the president, approves she's sacked. The morning the president is in that same constituency, cutting the sword for a very important road. Is it just a coincidence, or we should read a bit more into this, considering that the majority side in Parliament are pushing for her to vacate a seat, which will create a room for a by-election?
Well, thank you. First, I think I better give our listeners a bit of background as to how safe Dome Kwabenya is for the MPP. In the 2016 parliamentary elections, the MPP won had 63,488 votes, NDC 29,392 votes, a difference of 34,096 in favor of the NPP. In 2020, MPP had 75,041 votes, NDC had 52,262. The margin 22,779 votes. It tells you straight away it's a relatively safe seat for the MPP. I think that I've been well informed from my sources in Parliament that if the Speaker in October decides to go against the committee's report that the seat be declared vacant, I think somebody will head to the court to test it. Now, if the seat is declared vacant, Madam Adjoa Safo, in the run up to 2020 elections, won the party's primaries by 8 votes. So if there's a by-election, I believe that Madam Safo has two options: to contest the primaries again, or decide to call the bluff of the NPP and go as independent candidate like the Formina then MP did. So that is what I think the options are available to him. But given that I just read a report, an interview with the constituency executive of Dominic Kwabena online, if Madam Safo goes to the primaries, I think he will lose. And if he goes to contest as an independent, I don't think he can pull off what the Formina MP did. Evans.
That is a very interesting point there. So, what about the factor of where the economy is right now? Many will say any by-election now, regardless of how strong the hold is in Dom Kwabena, will be a referendum on the administration in the second term. And where we are right now economically, the challenges, it'll be pretty dangerous for the MPP to feel certain that they can pull this off.
22,000 votes margin, even I doubt it. I mean, if it was 4,000-5,000, and you need to bear in mind, 2016 the margin was 34,096. 2020 the margin was 22,717. That's the margin reduced by about 12,000. And this by-election, I'm sure the two parties will whip their members to get out and vote. The margin is too huge, and I'm sure both parties, NDC, would want to really close the margin, even if they lose, close the margin to maybe 10,000, or in terms of percentage-wise, close the margin. And the MPP want to maintain the margin or increase it. Or maybe, Adjoa Safo's absence is near to the benefit of the NDC. Maybe the NDC may decide not to vote the candidate and vote for her as an independent parliamentary candidate. Once they do that, they are killing their own party. They are killing the NDC party in Dominic Kwabena. So Adjoa can call the bluff, decide to go independent. By Evans, the margin of 22,000 is huge.
Mr. Epps, I'm grateful that you joined us with your thoughts. I wonder what the constituency MPP executives are making of all this. I mean, the first trigger has now been fired. The president did that, and that tells you that the president has had enough of this. If the president has had enough of this, it will rub off on what may happen in Parliament as well. Theophilus Ansah is the MPP secretary in Dom Kwabena. He's also on the line with me. Mr. Ansah, I'm grateful for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you very much for having me.
So she's being sacked now by the president. The president was there today. I'm pretty sure you were there when he cut the sword for the road.
Yes, I was.
But this is all happening. A good day for you, I'm sure, now that the road is going to start. But this is all happening under this cloud of Adjoa Safo hanging all over the constituency. Obviously, the president has had enough. This may rub off on what is happening in Parliament. It's very, very possible. It's a likely outcome that seat will be declared vacant, and you might go to by-election. You are confident that this may come back to haunt you?
Basically, I've said this over and over and over again, basically. And we don't see the way you see out there. Politics is a continuous process. And I've said it that with or without the member of parliament, Dominic Kwabena must move on. The developmental projects we need, we should get it. And we know where to go to get it. So I heard you say that whether it was coincident having this shortcutting and sacking at the same time. No, it has been planned long ago. And this issue of Adwoa has been lingering on over 6 months now. So whether Adwoa is coming or not, our political plans in terms of projects must go on. And that's what we did today. That road has been awarded on contract long ago. The president has secured the funds for it, and the contractor has to start. And we've done the shortcutting. If it comes to Adwoa for honorable winning or going for independent or the seat being declared vacant, what we are saying is we are workers of the party, we are staff of the party, and every political party seeks to maintain power. And that is exactly what we are looking forward to. And we have worked so hard that we had over 22,000 margin for the past election, and we're not going to let it go. We have hung on this seat over 5 times. This is our 5th term on the seat. So I don't think it's going to be any different if the seat is declared vacant. We're going to work hard and maintain it and probably increase the vote margin.
I like that confidence. And I asked that question earlier of Benefse. Are you factoring in where the economy is, where people's socio-economic circumstances are currently, which is a pretty difficult time for many? And that will, you know how when people feel it in your pocket, they tend to reflect that in how they cast their ballots.
I guess you know what has caused this economic downturn. And it is a matter of explaining to the people. We're not just going to have an election without speaking to the people. We have to educate them and let them know what the circumstances are. And it's a global downtrend. And every nation is suffering as a result of COVID that we were recovering from. The president and the government was doing well from 2017 to 2019 before the COVID set in. And we are doing well, basically. Other European countries which are developed are also crying. So it's not different from what they are seeing elsewhere. Let the people understand what the situation is and let them see what, despite of all the troubles and the difficulties we are going through, what we have been able to achieve as a government in the constituency and what we are prepared to do going forward. I think they will understand that. We have our people in the constituency. We have our people in the constituency who are not too much happy because they needed and they have certain expectations that has not been met. But when we sit them down and explain to them why this expectation has not been met and give them the assurances that moving forward, breaking the 8 or securing the seat in Dominican Abenya will yield better fruit for all of us. It is better to be in power and expectant than to be in opposition, because if you go to opposition, you have no expectations at all. And these are the messages we're going down to the people, and we'll get them to appreciate the practical and tangible projects we have started, those that we have completed, and I think it will yield the result we are all looking for.
I'm grateful, sir. Theophilus Ansah is the MPP secretary in the Dom Kwabenya constituency. Gonna Connect comes up in a minute.
Sweetheart, give me proper breakfast. Later, give me lunch. And for dinner, make it